Hello everyone. Today we bring you a critical issue that has shaken the banking system in India once again after a gap and impacted thousands of depositors. The New India Co-operative Bank, once a promising and professionally managed financial institution, is now at the center of fraud allegations, financial mismanagement, and regulatory intervention. The question in the minds of every depositor and those who are all watching the banking trends is that will the bank survive or will depositors lose their money? Will political leaders protect depositors or is this just another blame game going to be for some time? Stay with me as we uncover the truth and discuss solutions that will protect your hard-earned money. Let us look at this issue beyond the political blame game. Every time a financial collapse happens, a crisis happens, political leaders in India start pointing fingers at each other. In this case, Sanjay Raut from Shiv Sena UBT claims that the bank was looted by BJP leaders, whereas BJP leader Kirit Somaiya, who is also an activist, has called for an enforcement directorate investigation. Whereas news reports inform us that there is the involvement of an MLA by name Ram Kadam of Ghatkopar in Mumbai. And further, the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says he trusts the RBI actions. Of course, we respect all these leaders. We respect their respective parties. That is why we have elected them as our leaders to represent our interests. But their responsible actions means a lot to one and all. But what does this mean for you, the depositor, ultimately? The real issue is not who did what. The real issue at this point of time is how to save the bank, how to save depositors' money. Let us see the hard facts. Financial reality of the bank is that the numbers coming out are exhibiting a real crisis with the bank because rupees 120 crore fraud that took place in the bank, and it has worsened an already weak financial institution in its financial position. And rupees 2,436 crores deposits in terms of total, but only 1,360 crores in liquid assets. Rest in loans and advances. Again, in loans and advances, about 44.16% happen to be gross NPAs, bad loans, one of the highest in the sector. When we look at the capital adequacy ratio, it fell to 7.11%, below RBI required 9%. What does this mean? The bank has a funding gap, and if there is no immediate intervention, depositors could lose money. Given the facts, what is that can be expected from RBI? What the RBI must do now? The Reserve Bank of India has taken, of course, initial steps. It suspended the board, restricted withdrawals and new loans, began an investigation into financial mismanagement. But that's not enough. The RBI must ensure a merger with a stable bank like the PMC Bank, Unity Small Finance Bank kind of resolution. Full transparency in fraud investigations, who was involved and how will the 122 crore be recovered from these fraudsters. And then fast track deposit insurance payouts up to 5 lakh under DICGC. Not just that, even work on a structured repayment plan for uninsured depositors to minimize losses. If the RBI does not act fast, public confidence in the banking system will be destroyed because we just have come out of the shocks in the system of the S Bank and PMC Bank. Of course, both the banks were successfully put on restoration path. But again, when we are saying that our economy is growing at a steadfast pace and our GDP is going to touch $5 trillion. When we are talking all good about our economy, why this kind of disasters should happen is a big question mark, and why a bank which has almost 44.16% of gross NPAs couldn't be put on alert quite ahead of its suspension of operations. Why a bank with such a gross NPA rate of 44.16% was allowed for a long time before its suspension by RBI is a big question mark in the minds of depositors. As a citizen, what is that can be expected from the government? What the government must do? The Maharashtra government and the central government cannot remain silent. They have rescued big banks earlier, like that of S Bank in the past, PMC Bank through a private merger facilitation. Why not help another cooperative bank that served common citizens? And unlike PMC Bank and S Bank, where there are big stakeholders who can actually lobby for the restoration of the banks, but in this case, it is the maximum small depositors and middle class depositors who got stuck with this bank. Their resolution may not come from just DICGC insurance, and they deserve full recovery from the bank, and that's where a staggered repayment system like that of PMC Bank may be put in place, and bank may be restored at the earliest to function. Because when RBI suspends the operations of the bank, the non-operating expenditure till the period of its recommencement will be a cost and burden on the part of the depositors' money lying in whatever manner with the bank. But if we find a quick redressal that may reduce the unproductive operational cost, which may not further burden the depositors' money. So, a rescue package from RBI is of utmost importance at a steadfast pace. A structured financial package to stabilize the bank, encourage financial institutions to take over the bank's management, and assure depositors, irrespective of small, big, that they won't lose their hard-earned money. What depositors must do now? Depositors, your money is at risk, but you are not helpless. Here is what you must do immediately. If RBI allows limited withdrawals, apply for emergency relief and RBI's medical or educational exemption. It's not just enough. You may remain as uninsured depositor. In that case, what you need to do is you need to join deposit groups pushing for legal action, and also in representing RBI with reference to its revival through a special pool vehicle mechanism like that of PMC Bank with Unity Bank. Let us ensure that no depositor is left behind. The time to act is now. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.